Hi, welcome to Ask the Mayor. We are taking we had taken questions this past 2 months, and now we're back. And so we're going to be answering questions that were placed in November and December. And we also have a special guest today, Chief Goggins. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. If you'd like to submit your own question, please do so by February 7th, and then we will be asking them on the 13th of February. All right. First question. Are there plans to fill in the chunk of road missing from the NW corner of the Maple and White intersections? Thanks.
Yeah. So to start with, I'm glad Chief Goggins is with us today, and we've got some great questions. We have several, so we're going to try to stay brief, and that's going to be hard for Chief Goggins and myself. But so for that northwest corner of Maple and White, yes, there are plans to completely repave White Street. Unfortunately, it will probably be about this time next year before that construction starts, but the entirety of White Street is scheduled for a complete overlay and repavement.
All right. Is the city in charge of Westfest, or is it just a coincidence that it's a member of city council that runs it?
Great question, and this brought up a lot of history for me and Christy and Chad, so we really dug into this a little bit. And I think this is actually going to be the 40th anniversary of Westfest. So the best we could tell, Westfest started in 1985. Interesting, that was the bicentennial year of Westport, and I actually won the 1 mile fun run, largest trophy I've ever received in my life. I think I was 10. Anyway, so Westfest was actually started by Dr. Wilson and Karen Daughtery, and they ran that for several years. There was a period of time where the city was more integrated into Westfest, and we collected some donations for Westfest and kind of served as the mediary of holding the money and dispersing money. Since then, that was several years ago. Since then, it is a completely separate entity. It's a committee that obviously we're in coordination with the city and the Westfest committee, but it's a complete separate entity from the city. And yes, it's just a total coincidence that Alderman Collins is on the council and in charge of Westfest. We were talking about, and I didn't talk to John about this, but I believe he actually started helping in Westfest prior to becoming an alderman. So yeah, totally separate and totally a coincidence that a member of the council is in charge of Westfest.
All right. Are there any plans in the works to update the playground equipment at the community center?
Yeah, interesting. This question was asked. So we do have some renovation plans at the community center and at Riverside. At the community center, mostly we're going to remove the teeter-totters, the two little teeter-totter style toys that are out there. They're getting some age on them, and then we're going to resurface the area around the rest of that equipment, kind of give it a facelift. At Riverside, we're actually getting some new equipment and doing a whole upgrade to the equipment at Riverside. But yeah, there will be some upgrades, but we're not changing out the main equipment over at the community center.
All right. Could we get a section of gutters placed on the big pavilion at the community center in the area above the free little pantry? Or maybe move the pantry to the front of the pavilion? Currently, it's very drippy right there, and when you're standing there refilling it, you get wet.
Yeah, so again, that little pantry there was a school project that the city allowed them to put there, so they did the placement of that. But I have talked to Chad, and I'll speak with Isaac as well, at looking at can we do some guttering there or something to reduce any runoff. With where that is placed, it is right under the eave of that pavilion, and I can see where that could bring on some issues during rainy season. So yeah, we're going to look at that and see what we can do there.
Who do we need to call about the firearm noise that comes from the quarry? I've heard it's the state police using it for target practice, but can't get solid confirmation on that. Do we as citizens have any say in this? It's currently 8:45 at night, and the gunfire has been going on for hours.
I'll let the chief handle this one.
Okay, so we do. Well, first off, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We do have an area. It's not actually in the city limits. It's outside in the county. The quarry area that we do have coordination between ourselves and that property owner, and also not just us, but many agencies of law enforcement across the area. I mean, all the way to Benton County, state, federal, local. So there are a lot of law enforcement agencies out there training throughout the year. Unfortunately, a lot of the training we do can be noisy, like gunfire, and that's kind of a thing we have to be able to train, and it is kind of an unfortunate side effect of that. What I will say is I think you'd be surprised how many times people are out there training and shooting that you don't hear them and you don't know they're there. I think a lot of it has to do with weather conditions or the wind, because I know I've been over at the school sometimes, stepped out and could hear it almost like, it sounded like somebody was shooting at harps, and it was from the quarry. And then other days I know they're out there and I don't even hear them. So I think a lot of it has to do with the weather conditions. But there's been a lot of training going out there. As far as after hours, they tend to limit that during the daylight hours for the most part. However, we do have basically mandated through court cases and policy, we do have to train in hours of low light or darkness. So there are going to be some times, it's going to be the exception,